So welcome again to this second chakra class. And Swadhisthana is our second chakra. It's the seat of abundance. It's the seat of our creativity, our prosperity, our sensuality, our sexuality. All kinds of good stuff in Swadhisthana chakra. And Francisca, how nice to see you midweek. It's always a nice surprise when you're able to join in. So Swadhisthana chakra, its shadow side, this is where we hold our trauma. It's where we hold our guilt. It's where we hold our shame. And the sutra, the sankalpa, our intention for this chakra, as we bring this chakra into balance, is transcendence. It's about letting go of our victim identity and letting go of our historical narrative, right? We talked a lot yesterday about persona. All right, so let's come on to the mat, changing the angle of my camera. A little bit more down, okay? And awesome. So let's come onto our mat and feel ourselves here, grounding down. Lift the toes, settle the toes down. Palms shine forward, soften the knees. Close the eyes, tuck the tail, and stand in your Tadasana. This is your mountain. Feel yourself rooting down, dropping down into presence, dropping down into this practice, which is so much more than asana. Asana is the physical practice of yoga. This is so much more than our physical bodies taking form on this mat. Inhale those arms out enough. And hands down the midline. So I invite you to really bring to mind your historical narrative. We talked about this yesterday. Inhaling those arms up, reach up, stretch up, and then dive down. Uttanasana, forward fold. Hanging heavy, soften those knees. So yesterday we talked about how our historical narrative, it's our conditioning. Right? It's what people have told us maybe we're good at, or the way that people have said that we should be, what's okay and what's not okay. What's not okay is just as powerful, just as important when it comes down to our historical narrative. Showing up one way naturally in life as a child and being told, oh no, we don't do that. Inhale, arch up halfway, flat back. And that can result in grief. It can result in shame. Exhale down. And then inhale those arms all the way up. Reach up, lift up. Hands to the heart space. And again, inhale those arms out and up. Reach up, lift up. Come up onto the balls of the feet. Good focused gaze, a little bit of balance here. And then settle those heels down and fold down. Come on down into your forward fold. Relaxing the head, softening the knees. Inhale, arch up halfway, flat back. Exhale, release down. Instep the right leg back. landing on the ball of the right foot. Hands frame the left foot. Left knee is right over the ankle, not beyond. Shoulders down the back. So the reason that it's so incredibly important to plug into your historical narrative is that when we don't have awareness, drop that knee down, allow the hips to relax down. When we don't have awareness of our conditioning, it means we're just in a loop. And you've probably, noticed it with others in your life, right? Where, they're like, you have a friend who picks these guys who might not be very nice, and then that relationship falters and fails. And you're like, okay, all right, well, maybe she'll do better next time. And then she goes out and she picks another guy, and it's just like that one. And you're like, why? Why? Well, it's the conditioning. It's the conditioning narrative. Set those hips back, toes stay down, and we do it as well. What have we been told? How have we been told we need to be in order to be loved? How have we been told to be, inhale forward, in order to belong? What have we told is acceptable? All of these things condition us. Exhale it back, toes rise up. And again, Swadhisthana Chakra, the Sankalpa, the intention here for Swadhisthana Chakra is transcendence. Transcending, inhale forward, this conditioning so that we spiral ever closer to Atman, our true self. Exhale it back, toes rise up. And inhale forward. And so many of us, I would say all of us, in different ways, coming up onto that knee, right hand comes down onto the mat or possibly onto a block, left hand on the left knee, and we twist open to the left. Breathing here. Pouring energy down that right leg, out the heel. We often wind up with a victim mentality. Life is happening to us, right? Hands frame the foot, ground the hands, step it back, down dog. Walk your dog out. Why does this keep happening? Why do I keep losing jobs? Why do I keep losing boyfriends or girlfriends? Why does this keep happening to me? And the important shift that we need to make is that nothing ever happens to us. Breathing here in your dog. Glide forward, plank pose. Pouring energy into the hands. Pressing, nice flat back heart. Draw the low belly up and in. Tuck the tail. Everything that happens in your life is happening for you. Not to you, it's happening for you. Come on down, knees just shin. Ashtanga Pranam. And ground the hips, hands under shoulders. And if you can really embrace this, elbows hug the waist, Bhujangasana, this is the best way for you to strip away your victim mentality. This is happening for me. It's happening for me. And then plug those hands in. Come on up onto the knees. Knees under hips. Palms reach forward and press. Come on down. Anahatasana. Puppy dog stretch. Right? Maybe the forehead goes onto a block, or maybe it comes down on. Press and breathe into the underarms. And curl the toes, lift the hips, down dog. So for those of you who've been practicing with me for a while, you know that My nonprofit, I'm the founder of a nonprofit organization called Discovering My Purpose. And our class is based on positive psychology. Flip that right leg back and up, stretch it up, reach it up, roll the foot on the ankle. So when I think about this, when I think about, this shift of this isn't happening to me, it's happening for me. Step that right foot forward, coming all the way forward. What it reminds me of is something called post-traumatic growth. Okay? Now, if you are like me, you've probably heard of PTSD a million times. Let that knee drop down on the left. Allow the hips to release down, to relax now. Just allowing yourself to get into the hips. But you might never have heard of post-traumatic growth, which is, again, it's a positive psychology concept. You let the hips settle back, toes stay down, folding over that leg. And then inhale forward. And then exhale, the back toes rise up, Ardha Hanumanasana. Breathing, heavy heel, tractioning the heel back. Feeling the back of the leg opening. So with post-traumatic growth, and there's a lot to dig into with post-traumatic growth, but the nutshell, inhale it forward, is that when something bad happens to you, you integrate it and you make sense of it. And you make sense of it in a way that is life-affirming. Like if your boyfriend cheats on you and you make sense of it like, all men are rats. I hate men. That's not going to lead to post-traumatic growth. Right? Inhale forward. Left hand stays down, right hand comes onto the knee and twist to the right. Just wringing out the spine. How does it feel good? And, I had the opportunity to study with Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar, who is an amazing, amazing man. I totally love him. Handspring the foot, curl the back toes under, step it forward. He's a Harvard-trained positive psychologist. And, he's from Israel, and his grandparents were victims of the Holocaust. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, release. So what he says, inhale all the way up, reach up, lift up. He says he doesn't believe that things always happen for the best, which is understandable based on his history. But he says he does believe that you can make the best of what happens. Make the best of what happens. Inhale those arms up, reach up, lift up. Come up onto the balls of the feet. Lifting up, reaching up. And that's post-traumatic growth. No matter what happens in your life, no matter what the trauma is, bring the ankles together, bring the knees together. You say, okay, what do I have to learn from this? What do I have to learn? How can I make that shift so that I'm experiencing post-traumatic growth? And if your significant other cheats on you, it's not about all men are rats. It's about, okay, I need to learn to discern, the warning signs, or I need to have a better sense of, my own ability to understand how things unfold. Or, this had nothing to do with me. This wasn't my fault. I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. Releasing down. Inhale, arch up halfway, flat back. Exhale, release. So the inquiry here, step that right leg back. Nice long line. And let's come up into our high crescent. You can also drop that knee and come down into low crescent if that suits you better. Beautiful, open heart. Breathe into the hips. So start asking yourself, where do I seem to be in a loop? Where is my historical narrative keeping me prisoner? Where do I often show up and play the role of the victim? Svadhyaya, self-inquiry, self-study. Another breath. And fold over that leg. Arms go back. And inhale, lift. You can take your Jala Mudra if you'd like. Pinky finger and thumb come together, reaching up. And then hands come down. Either side of the foot. Step it back. Down dog. Walk your dog out. Head hangs heavy. Remember, this chakra is about transcendence. It's about abundance, creativity. And in the class that I'm taking, flip that right leg back and up, stretch it up, reach it up, and step it forward. And then let's float up, taking our Jala Mudra, float up into high crescent on this side. Shoulders down the back. Breathe in here. And fold over that leg. And lift up. And then hands come down. And step it back. Walk your dog out. Head hangs heavy, tailbone rises up. And then let's widen the knees, touch the toes, and sit back, child's pose. Palms face up, touch the thumb to the pinky, taking our Jala Mudra, which is the mudra of water. The element of Swadhisthana Chakra is water, where we flow. Allow yourself to melt down. Connecting here, connecting with this sense, of who you are. Teasing apart that historical narrative, the things, the way you've been told to be. So you can dig down deeper to a truer sense of self. Another breath. And then come on up. Plug the hands in, curl the toes, lift the hips, down dog. So I'm taking that class that I've mentioned to you all quite a few times called The Path to Radical Self-Mastery. Float that right leg back and up, stretch it up, and step it forward. Coming into your Vira 1. Take your time, set your feet. So one of the things that Anand is the teacher, Anand Marotra. And then open it up. Your hands can again be in Jala Mudra, so Vira 2. Long stance, knees over the ankle. Palms face up if you're taking Jala Mudra. Really breathing into those legs, feeling the strength of the legs. And then straighten that leg and glide into your Trikonasana. And come on down. So what he says, which is really interesting, is he talks a lot about how desire is, in our first chakra we were talking about fear, right? This chakra is all about desire. And desire, depending on where it's coming from, can either be destructive and distracting, or it can be in flow. Another breath. And what he said, which I thought was really interesting, come on up, back into your Vira 2, shoulders down, don't lean forward or back, spine is erect, and then take reverse, is he said that when the desire stems from this sense of this is who I am, in that victim mentality, and that's who I want to be, like breathing, then that desire is very often distracting. Okay? Because you're effectively trying to go from here to there, another breath, and then hands come down either side of the foot. And very often the way that we're looking to move is based on our conditioning. In order to be loved, I must be thinner. I must be sweeter. I must be more patient. I must be stronger. I must be whatever it is, whatever that messaging is. And that fuels our desire because we're trying to bridge the gap. Glide forward. That's a very different kind of desire. Coming into our plank and just breathe here in plank. That's such a different desire than having a sense of who you truly are, not based on conditioning, not based on a historical narrative. This is who I am at the core, and my desire is arising from that. That's literally apples and oranges. Breathing. And then come on down, Ashtanga Pranam. And lift up. Breathe in here, Bhujangasana. And then come on up onto the knees and puppy dog stretch. Because what Anand consistently says is that when you're in a place where you're connected to your true self, come on up into your down dog. Your desire flows with the support of nature. And he calls that desireless desire. Because things are in alignment. Float that left leg back and up, stretch it up, reach it up, and step it forward. Going into your Vira 1, take your time, set your feet, and lift up. So in all of this, and I know that we talk about a lot of really big, deep things, right? We're talking about transcendence. This isn't going to happen with the wave of magic wand. Coming into your Virabhadrasana 2. Breathing in. I hope your picture is better than mine. It looks super green on my iPad. So hopefully that's just my signal for some reason on my own individual device. Straighten that leg and glide. And come on down. In your triangle pose. A little tiny bend in that left knee. Breathing. So we're again just working to see if we can take off those glasses. The glasses that are effectively the conditioning. Float on up. Of this is the way life should be. This is the way, we should act. we should show up in the world. Reverse and then side angle. Breathing here. And then float it up. Warrior 2. And come on down. Walk your dog out. Head hangs heavy. Tailbone rises up. So when it comes down to making the shift, and again, come into your child's pose, Bhavasana. Knees are wide, arms stretched forward, fingers in water mudra if you'd like, thumb to pinky finger. Bringing the forehead down to the earth and just making that shift. Everything in life that happens to me happens for me. For me. And this can be so incredibly powerful because if something happens that really triggers you and you're able to make the shift of looking at that with gladness, right? Plug the hands in, curl the toes, lift the hips, down dog. Where you're like, oh good, this is an opportunity to learn. What is it about this that's lighting me up? What is it that I have to learn from this aggravation, irritation, frustration, whatever it is? And that kind of a shift is so powerful. So incredibly powerful. Float that right leg back and up, stretch it up. And bring it down. Stretch the left leg back and up, stretch it up. And bring it down. And then stretch that right leg back and up and step it forward. And let's lift up into our Vrikshasana. So float up into our Vira 1 and step off into our tree. Sole of the foot on the inside of the leg, hands at the heart space. Breathing here. Knees out to the side. The only place the sole of the foot is not is on the side of the knee. Arms reach up. Really ground down. And ground down into this commitment. Into this commitment of I am going to explore the way my conditioning is limiting me, right? Because again, this is where self-limitation lives. It lives in Swadhisthana Chakra. Another breath. And step it back. Vira 1, take your Jala Mudra. Thumb to the pinky finger. And then hands come down. Walk your dog out. Float that left leg back and up and step it forward. First going into Vira 1. And then step off and take your Vrikshasana. So ground down in that left leg. Whoa. Oh, so fun, right? Trees sway. Sometimes trees fall over. So grounding down into that left leg. Arms reach up. Leg is out to the side. Breathing here. Another breath. step it back. Virabhadrasana 1. And hands come down either side of the foot. And come on down into your down dog. And let's come into plank pose. And from plank pose, let's dip our hips down towards the mat, turning our hips. And inhale, lift. And then exhale, other direction. So just working the obliques. One more, other side. And then drop those knees down. And grab your block, if you have one. And let's take Malasana again. We took Malasana yesterday. So widening the feet, heels are in, toes are out. And then come on down into your squat. Now, if you've got a Malasana where you're like, Laura, I really don't need a block, then no worries. Okay? So the out the knees. And what we really want to do here is have the spine be straight. And that's where the block can be pretty helpful, is if you balance your booty on that block, you can really sit up straight and get into those hips. Whew. Breathing here. Close the eyes, go inside. Connecting with your conditioning. Remembering that this conditioning, this persona, it's like our armor. If you remember our poem from yesterday. And this whole practice of transcendence is about laying the armor down so our true self can blossom and expand and flow. Another breath. And release your garland pose, your yogic squat. And let's come onto the back. Let's do a bit of core before we transition into, we're going to do a pretty cool flow focused on the second chakra. So rock it out, massaging the sacrum. Hug those knees in. Roll the feet on the ankles, really getting into the hips, making circles with those knees. That might feel really good after our yogic squat. And then switch the direction of the circles. And from here, let's bring our hands behind our head, our knees are up. And we're just going to bicycle those knees. As the right leg stretches long, our right hand comes onto our left knee, just a little bit of pressure, and then we switch sides. We're exhaling as we're pressing against the knee. We're inhaling as the legs switch. So just back and forth. Strengthening the core. Exhaling as the hand lightly presses against the knee. One more on either side. And release it back. And rock it out. Roll the feet on the ankles, roll the head on the neck. Right? So good. Let's rock and roll along the long muscles of the spine. I always find this gives me a little bit of a chiropractic adjustment. Sending love to the erector spinae, which are the long muscles that run on either side of the spine. Yeah, there it was, I heard the pop. And come on up. And let's take Ardha Navasana, which is half boat. Arms stretch forward, balancing on the sacrum. Breathing here, nice tall spine. Don't hold the breath. And then hands at the heart space, and we go back and forth. Russian twists with our balancing boat. Exhale as the hands come down on the side of the body. Whew, it's getting hot in here, y'all. And release. And come on back. Feels so good when you stop, right? Roll the feet on the ankles. Hug the knees into the chest. Rock it out left to right. Soles of the feet on the floor. Plug those feet in. Palms alongside the body. And then let's pour energy into the feet as we lift those hips up. Energizing the glutes. Exhale it down. Inhale, lift. Exhale down. So continuing to think about your conditioning. Thinking about things that live in Swadhisthana. Guilt, shame, trauma. Taking care of yourself here. We're exhaling as the hips lift. We're inhaling them down. And then release the hips down. And come on up to a seat. So coming into an easy seat, okay? We're going to take Yoni Mudra. Yoni Mudra is when the thumbs come together and the index fingers come together. Everything else is wrapped, okay? And we bring the hands right to Swadhisthana Chakra, all right? So they're right at the low belly with the index fingers pointing down. So we're going to roll the tongue in Kechari Mudra, and that's when we take the on the floor to an easy seat, okay? We're going to take Yoni Mudra. Yoni Mudra is when the thumbs come together and the index fingers come together. Everything else is wrapped, okay? And we bring the hands right to Swadhisthana Chakra, all right? So they're right at the low belly with the index fingers pointing down. So we're going to roll the tongue in Kechari Mudra, and that's when we take the tip of the tongue and we curl it up and back as if we're trying to touch the tongue to the glottis, which is that funny little hanging down thing at the back of the throat. That's Kechari Mudra. And we're going to inhale through the mouth, which is going to feel weird with Kechari Mudra. Nice big inhale. And draw energy from Swadhisthana. Feel the hands plugging in, drawing that energy from Swadhisthana up to the third eye. Roll the eyes up and in Sambhavi Mudra. We got 3 mudras going at the same time. And then holding the breath in, we're going to fold over. Maybe you keep your hands in Yoni Mudra, or you release your hands down and you bring your forehead down to the earth, still holding the breath in. And then we roll up and we release the breath and sit. Hands back in Yoni Mudra if you released them. And we take 3 natural breaths. So releasing the tongue, releasing Khechari Mudra. Eyes are still rolled up and in. Natural breaths, sitting here, connecting with Swadhisthana Chakra. This is all about healing, letting go of ourselves as victims, letting go of the trauma, the guilt, the shame. Breathing here. We're going to do 3 more rounds. So again, take Khechari Mudra, tongue rolls back towards the back of the throat, and we inhale through the mouth. Big inhale. Hold the breath in. Fold forward. Hands either come down or stay in Yoni Mudra. Forehead comes down to the earth, or possibly down to a block if the earth is hard. And then we roll up, still holding the breath. Hands back in Yoni Mudra and release. And breathe normally. 3 breaths. So as we're doing this, as we're inhaling during this flow, we really want to feel energy in Swadhisthana Chakra flowing up Shushumna, our central nadi, our central channel, which is like the spine, up to the 3rd eye. Healing. So 2 more rounds. Rolling the tongue back, Khechari Mudra, eyes are rolled up and in. Inhaling, draw the energy from Swadhisthana all the way up to Anya, 6th chakra. And then we fold down, holding the breath in. Forehead comes down to the earth. And then we circle up, hands back in Yoni Mudra. And then exhale in 3 natural breaths. Eyes continue to be rolled up and in, stimulating the pineal gland, the command center of the brain. Last round. Tongue in Khechari Mudra, tip of the tongue back towards the back of the throat. Inhale through the mouth. Feel the light in Swadhisthana Chakra rising up the spine, all the way up, as if this abundance, this prosperity is lighting up all the chakra into our intuitive center, our 6th chakra, our 3rd eye. And then we roll down, forehead comes down onto the earth. We're holding the breath in. And then we sit up, holding the breath in. And then we release. Hands in Yoni Mudra. Index fingers touch, thumbs touch. The rest of the fingers are interlaced. And sit. And feel into Swadhisthana. Feel into the pelvic bowl, into the sacrum. Feel into this sense of abundance, creativity. Embracing this idea that your desire is more in alignment with who you are, not who you should be. Who you are. Beautiful. Just as you are. Another breath. And then gently release the hands. Open the eyes. Roll back onto the back. Bringing the knees into the chest and rock it out left to right. Hug those knees in. Making circles with the knees. And then extend that left leg long, right knee into the chest. And let's gently twist it open to the right as you look. The knee goes down to the left as you look to the right. Hug that right knee into the chest. And let's take half happy baby. So wrap the hand around the outer edge of the, pulling that knee down. And then extend that leg long. And then bring the left knee into the chest. And twist it open, looking over the left shoulder. Breathing. Hugging the left knee into the chest. And let's take half happy baby on this side. Bring that left leg down, flex the foot. Breathing into the hip. And then extend the leg long. And if there's one last pose that would be lovely before Shavasana, go ahead and do it now. Otherwise, just allow the feet to flop open, the palms to flop open, feeling the hands, feeling the body open, feeling energy flowing through the body. Allowing the whole body to melt down. Releasing down, relaxing down. Allowing Gaia to hold you up. It's in her poem, Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear petals of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese high in the clean blue air are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. Your place in the family of things. Remember, the universe, life, is not doing things to you. They're doing things for you. Doing things for you. So breathing into that reality. Remembering you do not have to be good. You do not have to crawl on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. Breathing into that knowledge, that reality, just letting go of this narrative that has held you prisoner. And then bringing movement back to the body, wiggling fingers and toes, rolling hands on the wrists, rolling feet on the ankles, rolling the head on the neck. And then roll over onto the right side, cradling the heart. And carefully press yourself up into an easy seat. Bringing the hands to the heart space. Well, first we have to give ourselves a hug. We always hug ourselves at the end of practice, giving yourself such a nice hug, rocking it out, sending yourself love, remembering the most important relationship you have in the entire world is the relationship with yourself. That's your bedrock, your foundation. And then bringing your hands to your heart space. Nice big inhale. To the third eye. Yay!